Hygiene Day is an annual awareness day to highlight the importance of good menstrual hygiene management. It was initiated by the German-based NGO Wash United in 2014 and aims to benefit bleeding persons worldwide. The 28th was selected to acknowledge that 28 days is average length of the menstrual cycle. Young people are part of individuals working towards proper menstrual management hygiene. Young people are part of individuals working towards proper menstrual hygiene management for young girls in different ways. Taking a close look at what menstrual hygiene means and how to enhance it, this is Youth Dialogue. I am Jenna Basonko and we have an interesting show for you this evening. Prospect for Girls is among youth-led organizations raising awareness on menstrual hygiene across the country. Education about menstruation changes everything. We will be speaking with a representative from Prospect for Girls who is also a nurse. Stay tuned. Welcome to the show, Fatimata Gassama, for the first time coming to the Youth Dialogue.
Thank you very much, Geneva.
Yes, today was Menstrual Hygiene Day. What is menstrual hygiene, in fact, before we go in depth?
So menstrual hygiene, this is a concept we use in our, it's a health term that we use, but in a local context, we can say it's anything that we use to address menstrual hygiene issues that are affecting women and girls. It could be the use of sanitary products. It could be education, empowering women and girls. It could be facilities like toilets and water, provision of water and other things. So all coming together, it's menstrual hygiene.
Menstrual hygiene.
Yeah.
So talk to us about menstrual hygiene, as in what can we do to enhance menstrual hygiene? Because you list that, but you can just explain some of these things. What can we do exactly to enhance that menstrual hygiene management is achieved?
So like you said, yesterday was Menstrual Hygiene Day. It is a global platform, advocacy platform, where people all over the world, especially NGOs and individuals, highlight the importance of menstrual hygiene management, education, and also the products that can be used to empower women and girls. So the importance of menstrual hygiene cannot be overemphasized in our community. Let's say in the Gambia, when you go to rural Gambia, it's very difficult for people to access sanitary products. Yeah. So people find it difficult to buy sanitary pads. In a typical poor Gambian family where food and shelter is a problem, menstrual hygiene products are not priority.
They are ruled out.
Yeah. So you find out that women and girls miss out of school or going to work because of menstrual hygiene issues. It could be they could not have products like sanitary pads, tampons or padded pants. Yeah. Or where they're working or their schools, they do not have facilities where they can help themselves, like you don't have bins or you don't have toilet with water where you can go and change your pad to make, because when you say menstrual hygiene, it's a very sensitive thing. Yeah. It's a taboo. It has been persisting for a long time with that stigma. When people are menstruating, you don't want anybody to know about it. So adolescents who even are educated or even working class, some people find it difficult to walk into a shop or a supermarket to buy sanitary products. Not to talk of someone who lives in a rural Gambia where it is a taboo for the girl and parents to talk about, because we don't actually talk about menstrual hygiene issues with our parents. So when a girl starts menstruation, she has to go through it on her own, you know, going through that financial stress, emotional, and sometimes you get mental health issues, like you get depressed, mood swings, because you don't have anybody to talk to when it comes to the problem. Let's say for the first time, a girl who lives in rural Gambia, you've never heard of menstruation. You don't know what it is to menstruate, and you don't have the chance, the opportunity to be taught in school. And it is a taboo for you to discuss menstrual hygiene issues or sexual and reproductive health problems with your parents. Now for the first time, you are seeing blood. You know, that psychological effect, you think you are dying.
Yeah.
Yet I am seeing blood
Yeah.
from a place that it should not come from.
Yeah.
We know you can have a cord, you can vomit blood, but when the blood is coming from the reproductive areas, for the first time as a teenager, you know, it's a problem.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Yeah. So this is why Menstrual Hygiene Day is celebrated worldwide, where it highlights the voices and actions of non-profits and individuals and the media empowering women and girls.
Yeah, you talked about the fact that parents at home or siblings in general, it's a taboo for them to actually discuss what menstrual hygiene is about.
Yeah.
You talked about sanitary pads. Is that the only thing that one can use to maintain menstrual hygiene, for instance? Let's say an individual who is in the combos, an individual who is in the urban areas and has the money to buy sanitary products. What else can that individual do to maintain menstrual hygiene, if not for just having sanitary pads?
So managing menstrual hygiene is not only using sanitary pads, because the first thing is you need to have adequate knowledge on menstruation. You need to know why you menstruate. Women need to understand their body, because your body gives you signals. These are all controlled by hormones. So in the beginning of your period, where you will have signals, like you have changes in your body that will signal you that my period is coming. Or when ovulating, some women will have high body temperature, you will have fever. So that's a sign that you
Some have pimples sometimes.
Yeah, that's a sign that you are ovulating. Sometimes you get mood swings. You know, you get depressed, you don't want to talk to anybody.
Get angry
you have
easily.
cravings for foods that you know they are not even in season, you want to eat them. So all those are hormonal changes that a woman will see in her body. So when your period comes, you will start bleeding. And during that period, you need to know, why am I bleeding? It's because at that particular point in that month, you are not pregnant. That is why you are bleeding. Because every month, the womb prepares itself for pregnancy. So there, the womb will have a lot of blood vessels. So it makes us, when the fetus comes, it has somewhere to embed, and then you will not have issues like miscarriages. So if the abdomen or your uterus prepares itself for that month, and then you are not pregnant, that is what comes out as the menstrual blood. So most women will feel pain. Sometimes people get severe pain that they have to go to the hospital to give them injections. It's normal. It's a normal process. Some of them, they don't have pain at all. Some have mild pain that you can manage. Some have severe pain that has to affect their work or their schooling. So all these are very important factors that one should consider when you talk about menstrual hygiene. So people need to understand that it's normal to have pain. Some people, they don't have pain. So when the wall of the abdomen prepared itself, so now that there is no pregnancy, now everything the womb prepared itself, the womb, lining of the womb has to come out. So during that process, it contracts and relaxes. That is what causes the pain. So during that contraction and relaxation of the womb, that is when the blood comes out. So people need to understand.
I think this is very, very important, Fatima. I don't think I've ever had this lecture myself. So this is as well some kind of a inspiration to me to actually learn some of these things. But just to get you back to the question that I asked, you said like you have to use sanitary pads. You talked about the fact that you have to know why you are menstruating. What else can a person do? Do you need some other products as a person when you're seeing your period to actually help you when it comes to hygiene management?
Like I said, it's not only menstrual sanitary pads you need for menstruation. You need clean water, you need soap, you need pants like cotton pants. You know, some people use sanitary pads. We have different types of sanitary products that people use. You have disposable sanitary pads, which are readily available that you can walk into any shop or supermarket and get. We have padded pants, where you have the the pad is attached onto the pant that you can use. We have tampons that people use. We have menstrual cups that people use. These are all alternatives that women and girls can use to address menstrual hygiene issues.
So with the issue of the tampons, what would you advise? Is it good enough? Because I heard some rumors around that tampons are not good for young girls, and the list goes on. So I think this is an opportunity for young girls to get that particular question answered. Are tampons good for young girls?
Tampons are good for young girls because they are sanitary products that have been made and they are tested and sent into the market. So it's all about personal choices. If you are okay with sanitary pads, disposable pads, you are good to go with them. If you want to use menstrual cups, you are good to go with them. If you want to use tampons, you can use it.
So there's no harm.
There is no harm
when it comes to the tampons for a young girl who's not married.
Yeah. So some people will say if a young girl uses a tampon, it can interfere with her virginity.
Yeah.
So personally, I don't use tampons, so I can't say much about that. But I know people use tampons. So
who are very young.
Yeah,
maybe?
who are very young. So like I said, it's all personal choices. People, as long as you have different variety of products that are available in the market, I feel people should have the privilege or the opportunity to choose whatever method they want to use. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now let's talk about a parent. You talked about the fact that it is a taboo, the stigma all around menstruation, and the list goes on in houses. So what would you advise a parent whose child just saw her period?
So
for the first time.
Yeah, for our parents, I would say it's very important when your child is 8 years, because some people start menstruating at the age of age. So if your child is at the age of age, or you see there are secondary changes, puberty, he or she starts developing changes, secondary changes, you need to bring your child in. We need to have that one-to-one talk. We need to break that culture of silence between our parents, not only our mothers, but our fathers and uncles and our brothers. It's very important that we include the men if we want to sustain or if we want to have effective way of addressing menstrual hygiene issues as limiting women and girls achieving their full potential. So a woman or a man should be able to bring her child down, talk to her, let her know why she is bleeding, and then what products she can use. And during her menstrual life cycle, that's the reproductive age, that if you do this, this is what happened. So typically our parents will tell you if a man touches you, you get pregnant. Which is not true.
Which is wrong.
It's typically not the fact. But then you should be able to tell your daughter, this is what happened. That's the reality. If you do this, this is what happens to you. So when girls get to know that and they grow up with that knowledge, it's like you're empowering your daughter. And then one thing I would like our parents to do, your girl child is going to school every month or every day, you make sure you give her lunch. But do we have any budget for us to buy sanitary products?
That's the question.
Because I am going to school, I need to eat, but I also need sanitary pads every month. So pads are very expensive.
Yeah, in the Gambia, I was going to ask you about that, the price attached to pads here.
It's very expensive. So one thing our parents can do is, if you give your daughter $25 is lunch, at the end of every month, you should have at least $100 that is
lying
put
there
aside for sanitary pads. Because if you want to buy good quality sanitary pads, you cannot have it less than $50. Some of the pads, you use it before 2 hours, it starts coming out. You see the cotton is at one side. And for you, you believe you have your sanitary pads on, and unfortunately, when you get up, you are stained. And those are the things that cause the stigma and then abuse at school. Like your friends will laugh at you that you stain yourself, and then from there, you don't want to go to school anymore. And also, if you cannot buy sanitary pads or you don't have sanitary products, you end up using rags that are unhygienic. And at the end of the day, you can have infections like candidiasis. So our parents, we just begging all of you, the men, women, our brothers, we should consider that. We need sanitary pads every month. It's a normal thing. So
I think that is it. So let's also talk about the fact that yesterday you visited the disability, St. John's School for the Deaf, young people, is it?
Yeah, we visited the Gado School for the Deaf in Birkama.
Exactly.
It's like the St. John's School.
It's similar to the St. John's School, so sometimes I mix them up a little bit. What is the importance of educating people who suffer from disability? I'm so happy that you guys decided to go there, because you could have gone to another school, but targeted young people, young girls who suffer from disability. What motivated that?
Yes, so Currently, we're doing a nationwide campaign sensitizing school girls, junior school girls in particular, on menstrual hygiene management. So all the schools that we've visited, we did not visit any school where we have people with disabilities. So when we went to Basse, we realized that there is a school, St. John's School in Basse. And but before that, we had included St. John's School for the deaf in our school list. And then Binta Baje, one of the people living with disabilities, you know, I contacted her, so she gave me the contact number for the principal. So when we called them, they were happy that we are coming, because usually people with disabilities are marginalized. They are not involved when it comes to general discussions, talk less of sensitive topics like menstrual hygiene management or sexual and reproductive health issues. So for Prospect for Girls, we always find strategies or inclusive programs that we include, because we are here for everyone. So people living with disabilities, either the hard of hearing or the blind, are all inclusive. So for us to develop as a nation, or for us to let's say we fighting to end gender-based violences, I think including people living with disabilities, it's very important.
The discrimination
considering the Gambia, where our educational curriculum and then let's say our infrastructures are not disability friendly. So we want people to come up with programs and strategies where whatever we do, we involve people living with disabilities. That is why we came up with the idea that this year we are not going to any other school but the Gado School for the deaf, and then we'll go to St. John's School
for the deaf. That is perfect. You talked about educational curriculum. Let's talk about the educational curriculum in relation to menstrual hygiene management. Not just that, but reproductive health, and the list goes on. How do you see it? What is your assessment? Do you think it has been outlined properly so that these children are well educated before actually seeing their period, and the list goes on?
I feel that our educational curriculum is not inclusive and then also reproductive health aspect of it, it's sidelined. And what we can do for the Ministry of Health and also the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, we need to include reproductive health as core components in our curriculum, because we used to have family life education in school, POP FLE. So I don't know whether that it's still going on, but what we realized during our sensitization in school is that both teachers and students lack adequate knowledge. Like people have little knowledge regarding reproductive health issues, not to talk of menstrual hygiene management. So the Ministry of Education should bring that POP FLE back in school, and then not only taking teachers from Gambia College, but also bringing in health personnel to take those courses, because they know, they have adequate knowledge on the topic they are teaching. So not just menstrual hygiene, but reproductive health. If we start empowering our young girls from junior school on reproductive health issues, when we grow up, we don't have an environment where people are sidelined or discriminated. The taboo, because the next generation where your mother will not talk to you about menstruation will be abolished. I am empowered, so I don't think it is a taboo. So I will be able to talk to my daughter or my sister about reproductive health issues.
I think. What about the availability of sanitary pads in school? You said that you had a nationwide tour, so tell me, did you visit any particular school that has sanitary products there for children?
Yes, during our tour we realized that that is one thing I want to commend the Ministry of Education for. They're providing sanitary pads for schools. All schools? Junior schools, all schools. But the problem is some schools have sanitary pads in stock. Some of them were running out of sanitary pads, and few schools mentioned that since this year, the beginning of this year, they did not receive any sanitary pad. So the thing is, how sustainable is this going to be? So because if you supply sanitary pads to school, every month, every girl gets one sanitary pad. So if people mensurate the duration, it's different days. So if you give me one packet of sanitary pads. If I menstruate for 3 or 4 days, that's going to be okay for me. But if I menstruate for 7 or 8 days, it's not enough for me.
Okay.
So it means you are giving me a sanitary pad, but still it's not enough.
Okay. So sorry, we will get back to that. Just quick question in between. So are you saying that a packet of 10 pads in it is not enough for a person who's seeing her period?
It's
just
not
to make
enough.
it clear here.
It's not enough. If you see your period for 7 to 8 days, a packet that has 10 sanitary pads is not enough.
Okay.
Because you need to change your pad a minimum of 3 times a day.
3
and that
times?
also depends on the flow.
Okay.
If you bleed very heavily, you might change it 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
So one packet, it's not enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one packet is not enough.
It's
you
not
have
enough.
to buy a lot, which is going to make it more expensive.
More expensive.
Yes. You can carry on.
So like I was saying, how sustainable is this? So one thing the Ministry and Ministry of Education can look at alternative ways of managing menstrual hygiene, because this helps to keep girls in school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very
and
true.
then also the mechanism that these menstrual hygiene products are given to girls, because when you see in your period, you know, girls have problems talking to their teachers, because it's a taboo also in the school.
Exactly.
So we learned that in one of the schools, the students and the teachers, when they want to say sanitary pads, they call it biscuit.
They call it biscuit?
Yeah.
That is so wrong.
Yeah, because if I cannot discuss menstrual hygiene issues with my parents, I should be able to tell my teacher I am seeing my period and I need a pad.
But they call it biscuit instead.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So it's like in the schools we've visited so far, we realized that the principal or the teacher, head teacher, will give the sanitary products to the female teachers or the secretary, because when the girl is menstruating and they know that the sanitary pad is with the principal or the male teacher, they will never go for it.
They won't, yeah.
So I think the school also system should also help us break this culture.
Yeah, I think, Fatoumata, that is why we should have the POP FLE. If we have the POP FLE, students are going to feel at ease. They're going to feel comfortable. They're going to feel like menstruation is something normal. The only thing that is abnormal about it is if I can't get the products that I need to use to maintain that hygiene for myself. So I think that is it. Thank you so much for coming to the show. Final words, what do you have to say to all these young girls out there about menstrual hygiene finally? So
my final words, Menstrual Hygiene Day was celebrated yesterday, because we want to empower women and girls in their reproductive age, so that people will be available to come out and talk about reproductive health issues. And then also people should break the culture of silence, you know, the taboos, the stigma surrounding menstrual hygiene issues. And then our parents, please, let's always have a budget for sanitary pad. It's very important, like our school lunch or the food. And then the education system should be inclusive. You know, we should have programs that are inclusive for both people living with disabilities and reproductive. If we want to empower women and girls, we need to consider that.
I think you should involve boys too when it comes to menstrual issues, because they are the ones that bully. They bully girls when they're seeing their period, and they know that this, she's seeing, you know, exactly.
It's very important.
So they should be included as well.
It's very important for us to achieve anything effective or successful in menstrual hygiene campaign. We need to include the boys and men in it. So the boys and men, you need to help us achieve this and end all this gender-based violence against women and girls.
Yes, and then Fatima, thank you so much for coming. And I know that you have a training ongoing presently for the 40 girls in different areas, tailoring, and the list goes on. I went out and about to check out what these young girls are doing. We will have that soon. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, my name is Aisato Mbokum. I'm the founder and CEO of Girls Talk Show / organization. What we do at Girls Talk Show / organization is we look into issues affecting girls and young women in our society, and we try as much as possible to bring solutions to make sure that these problems that the girls and young women face are solved. Menstrual Hygiene Day basically is a day that is celebrated worldwide. It's set aside to educate young girls about menstrual hygiene management, what they should do when they are on that time of the month, measures that they should take to make sure that they avoid infections when they are on their periods. And it's also a day that we look into calling onto stakeholders to provide measures and to also create the environment where girls can go through their menstrual hygiene, their menstruation without any problems, and to also break the social norms that are surrounded with menstruation in our society. So it's a day that so many things are looked into, including the reproductive health right of young girls, where they are taught about their internal organs, you know, why they menstruate and in the first place, and also how to take care of themselves when they're on their period. So it's a very specific day worldwide that is celebrated, and everybody that is into social work looks into making sure that they celebrate the day. And for Girls Talk Show, what we did this year is we decided to celebrate the day with 50 young girls at Yunus English School, and these girls are boarding school girls at the school. So we decided to target the boarding school girls because we know some of the challenges they can face when they are out from their homes and staying in their schools. So we had sessions with them where we taught them, we gave them instances how they could take care of themselves during menstruation, taught them on menstrual hygiene management, and at the end of the day we donated menstrual hygiene materials. That is, we gave them pad, we gave them panties, and we also gave them hand washing soap for them to use to take care of themselves when they are out of their houses. So that's what we did this year. We brought a certified nurse to talk to them about menstrual hygiene management, and it was a fun-filled day all through. The girls were curious to ask a lot of questions which they do not ask their parents. They do not have such conversation with their parents or their teachers, so they had the opportunity to ask the questions, and their questions were answered, and we are glad we did that.
Like I mentioned before, Prospect for Girls has given an opportunity to 40 girls to be trained in different fields to acquire skills. We will take a look at what these girls are up to. Stay tuned.
I'm a student at the University of the Gambia, fourth-year journalism student. I'm also a news anchor and a reporter at PTV Gambia, and I'm also part of the Prospect for Girls beneficiary on the tailoring department. What motivated me to choose tailoring when I was accepted into this training was that since when I was a little girl, I had the passion for tailoring, and I still have it. And my great-grandma was a seamstress. So with all of this, I deemed it necessary to be part of this training, because for me, it's not all about the degree, it's not all about the position of the work that you are in. It's about you having a skill, because when you have a skill, no one can take it from you, especially women, knowing that this field, particularly tailoring, is only for men. And if you are in this part, you're a woman, people seem like, okay, what do you have to do with this? Why are you doing this then? So for me, I think if you can show, as a woman, you are empowering yourself. And by empowerment, when I'm done with this training, I would like to have my own clothing line that is to empower women, to show women that you can do this thing. Whatever it is that men can do, you can also do it. And if you empower yourself, you have a voice. Not just having a voice to talk, but a voice to show people what you can do.
is Bintu Cham, and I am a member of this Prospect for Girls Vocational Skills Training. When I saw the application stuff online, I decided to apply because I am always part of those women that will want to do what men do. So when I saw it online, I said, this is a very good thing, so let me try my chance. I decided to apply. I was shortlisted for interview, and after the interview, I was actually lucky to be part of the few women that were choosing for the skills training. I really want to pursue this, and that was why when I saw it, it had different skill trainings. So I decided to move on with the photography because I've always liked to be a professional photographer, because I know that in our society we have this culture stuff, and photography is mostly associated with men only. So I said to myself, maybe I will be part of those people that will kill this culture. I want to make the whole gamut, the whole world know that photography is not a skill that should be taken by only men. So when we actually saw this, I mean we, my group, when we saw this Prospect for Girls trying to train women, we decided to come up, and we were really happy about it, because I believe in the next 2-3 months, I'll not be just like any other woman or any man that is out there holding a camera. I'm going to know much things about photography, and I could maybe use it as my career, work on it, and probably employ other women, because that's my main aim in doing it.
My name is Sheikh Tijan Seka. I'm the proprietor of STS Pictures. Photography and videography, it's a job. It's a career like any other job, like being a teacher, being a pilot, being an engineer. And I think in Gambia, a lot of people do not recognize this as a job yet. And we do not, it's actually, it kind of looks segregated, but then it's a job because you have more male in the area than we have women, because we only have few women. Yeah. But it's not like women are not actually given the opportunity or all that. I think it's because only male are actually more interested in it as of now than women. But then right now we are seeing more women, getting interested in the area of photography and videography. It's very important to have women in this area because it's all about telling stories, and I think women have their own stories. We see things in different perspectives. It is important for them to understand this job and tell their own stories from their own perspective, because they would tell it better than when a man is supposed to tell the story. That's what I believe. You understand?
That's a good belief.
And we have in photography, we also have different types of photography. We have fashion, we have documentary photography, we have landscape photography, which is very important for countries, because this allows you to show the outside world what your country looks like. When it comes to documentary photography also, you can tell the stories of your country and your environment and your society better than what another person from outside would tell. You understand? Because people might always tell the stories different, but if we have different people, especially women in this area, they will tell their own stories. It's passion. If you're not really passionate about this, I don't think you would really enjoy it. I think you need to enjoy it, and this will kind of give you the drive and the motivation to actually learn more, research more, and tell better stories. If you don't have the passion, I don't really think you would actually develop yourself to have the eye, to tell stories from your perspective. It's the passion. It's everything. And if you're passionate, then you will have the drive to seek for more knowledge in order to improve yourself and then to tell better stories. So it's very, very important to be passionate. Having these girls, I mean, it's beautiful because this is the second week and they've been really participating, and they're able to understand, to process things very, very fast. I'm impressed because this is the third year I'm doing it, but then having these girls, it's really impressive to have them. And I believe once they are done here, in years to come, if they are pursuing this, they will tell better stories and then bring out better images, show us their own perspective of the world and the environment. through photography.
Viewers, that is all we have for you in this edition of the Youth Dialogue, but a big thank you to Prospect for Girls as well as Girls Talk for giving us this opportunity to have a conversation with them on Menstrual Hygiene Day. Don't forget to continue the conversation on our different social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, till I come your way next week with other exciting young people doing extremely well across the country. Thank you.